Libra, welcome back to another reading. I am so glad you are here with me today, because the energy I am picking up around your situation is incredibly profound, and honestly, I have been sitting with these cards for a little while just trying to process everything they are showing me. If you are watching this right now, it is because you have been feeling something with a specific person. Maybe you have noticed they cannot quite look you in the eyes. Maybe they pull away just when things start to feel close. Or maybe you are just sensing that there is so much more beneath the surface that they are not saying. Well, let me tell you, the cards are about to reveal exactly what is happening in their inner world and why they are acting this way around you. Before we dive in, I just want to say that this reading is meant for you if it resonates. Take what feels right and leave what does not. The universe has a way of bringing the right messages to the right people at the right time. So if you are here, it is no coincidence. Let me shuffle these cards and see what Spirit wants to show us about this person and their feelings toward you. All right. The first card I pulled here is the Six of Cups, and I have to tell you, the moment this card appeared, I felt this wave of nostalgia and tenderness. The Six of Cups is all about the past, about memories, about innocence, and the kind of love that feels pure and uncomplicated. This person, Libra, they are holding on to something from the past when it comes to you. Now, this might be literal, like maybe you two have history together. Maybe you knew each other before, or maybe you remind them of a time in their life when things felt simpler and safer. But what is really significant here is that this person associates you with a kind of emotional purity that they have not felt in a very long time. There is something about you that brings them back to a version of themselves that they thought they had lost. Maybe they have been through a lot. Maybe they have built walls and become cynical or guarded. But when they are around you or when they think about you, suddenly they feel like they can access that softer part of themselves again. This is beautiful, but it is also terrifying for them. Because that vulnerability, that openness, it is not something they are comfortable with anymore. They have learned to protect themselves, and now here you come, stirring up all these feelings that make them feel exposed. The Six of Cups also speaks to a kind of innocence in how they feel about you. Their love for you is genuine and sweet, almost childlike in its purity. They are not playing games with you, Libra. This is not someone who is trying to manipulate you or use you. Their feelings are real and they are deep. But because these feelings are so genuine, they are also scared of them. When you have been hurt before, real love can feel more dangerous than anything else because you know exactly what you stand to lose. I am also getting that this person might be idealizing you in some way. The Six of Cups can indicate seeing someone through rose-colored glasses, remembering the good times, focusing on the beautiful moments. They might have put you on a bit of a pedestal, and while that sounds flattering, it actually adds to their fear. Because if they see you as this perfect, pure, beautiful thing in their life, then they are terrified of ruining it or not being good enough for it. They cannot look you in the eyes because when they do, the intensity of their own feelings overwhelms them, and they are confronted with their own sense of inadequacy. So right from the start, we are seeing that this person absolutely has deep feelings for you, but those feelings are tied up with their past, with their wounds, with their fears about being vulnerable again. They love you, but that love reminds them of everything they are afraid to lose. The next card that came through is the Tower, and okay, this is where things get really intense. The Tower is one of those cards that makes people nervous because it represents sudden change, upheaval, the crumbling of structures that we thought were solid. But here's what you need to understand about the Tower in this context. This person has built their entire emotional framework, their sense of safety, their identity even, on certain beliefs and defenses. And you, Libra, you are the Tower moment in their life. Your presence, your energy, the way you make them feel, it is shaking the very foundation of everything they thought they knew about themselves and about love. They have been living in this comfortable but ultimately limiting structure. Maybe they convinced themselves they did not need deep connection. Maybe they decided that staying surface level was safer. Maybe they built their life around control and predictability. And then you came along and suddenly all of that is being challenged. This is why they cannot face you. Because every time they look at you, every time they are in your presence, they can feel that structure starting to crack. They can feel the earthquake beginning. And that is terrifying. The Tower is not a gentle energy. It is not a slow realization. It is sudden, it is intense, it is the kind of awakening that you cannot ignore or suppress. This person is going through an internal crisis because of what they feel for you. Now I want to be really clear about something. The Tower ultimately is about liberation. Yes, it is scary when your walls come down, but those walls were also a prison. This person has been living in a prison of their own making, protected but isolated, safe but not truly alive. You represent the possibility of freedom, of real authentic connection, of actually living and feeling deeply. But to get to that freedom, the old structures have to fall. And they are resisting that with everything they have. They cannot look you in the eyes because your eyes reflect back to them everything they are trying to avoid. When they look at you, they see the truth. They see their own feelings, their own desires, their own needs that they have been denying. They see the life they could have if they were brave enough to let those walls crumble. And right now, they are not sure they can handle it. The tower is happening internally for them, whether they want it to or not, but they are fighting it, trying to hold on to the crumbling structure because at least it is familiar. The third card is the Four of Swords, and this gives us so much insight into their current state. The Four of Swords is about retreat, rest, recovery, and contemplation. This person is in a period of withdrawal right now, and not necessarily because they do not care about you, but because they are trying to process everything that is happening inside them. They are overwhelmed, Libra. The feelings they have for you, the internal upheaval they are experiencing, it has all become too much and they need space to think. This card often appears when someone is mentally and emotionally exhausted. They have been battling with themselves, trying to figure out what to do, trying to understand their own feelings, trying to decide whether to move forward or stay protected. And that battle has drained them. So they have gone into this mode of retreat. They might have physically distanced themselves from you, or even if they are still around, they have emotionally checked out or put up barriers. They are not engaging fully because they simply do not have the energy to deal with the intensity of what they feel. The Four of Swords also suggests that they are doing a lot of internal work right now, whether they realize it or not. This is not just avoidance, although it might feel like that to you. They are actually processing, contemplating, trying to heal old wounds so that maybe they can show up differently. They need this time to restore themselves and to gain clarity. The problem is they have not communicated any of this to you, which leaves you confused and hurt, wondering why they cannot just be present with you. I am getting that this person knows they need to make a decision. They know they cannot stay in this in-between place forever. But they are scared that any decision they make will be the wrong one. If they move toward you, they risk getting hurt. If they move away from you, they lose something precious. So they are frozen, resting in this state of inaction, hoping that maybe if they just wait long enough, the answer will become clear or the feelings will fade. But deep down, they know that is not going to happen. The reason they cannot look you in the eyes ties into this too. Eye contact requires presence. It requires being fully there in the moment with another person. And right now, they are so far into their own head, so consumed by their internal process, that they cannot be present with you. Looking into your eyes would pull them out of that retreat and force them to feel everything they are trying to carefully manage and control. Now, we have the Page of Wands coming through, and this card brings a completely different energy. The Page of Wands is enthusiastic, curious, passionate, and ready for adventure. This card is telling us something really important about how this person actually feels about you underneath all the fear and withdrawal. There is a part of them, maybe a part they are trying to suppress, that is absolutely excited about you. The Page of Wands represents new beginnings, creative inspiration, and that spark of passion when something or someone captures your interest. This person is inspired by you, Libra. You ignite something in them. When they think about the possibility of being with you, there is this enthusiastic, almost youthful part of them that wakes up and says, yes, this is what I want. This is the energy of someone who has found something they are genuinely passionate about. But here's the conflict. The page is immature in the sense that it is the beginning of the journey. It is the spark before the flame. This person has these excited, passionate feelings about you, but they do not quite know what to do with them yet. They have not developed the maturity or the courage to act on these feelings in a consistent, grounded way. So you get these moments where they light up around you, where their enthusiasm shows through, but then they pull back again because they do not know how to sustain that or where to take it. The Page of Wands is also about exploration and not being tied down. Part of what might be happening here is that this person is excited about you, but also scared of commitment. They love the idea of the adventure with you, the passion, the excitement, but the reality of what that might mean in terms of actually being in a relationship, being vulnerable, being committed, that is where the fear comes in again. They want the spark, but they are afraid of the fire. I am also sensing that this person might be dealing with some immaturity when it comes to emotional expression. The page has not yet learned how to communicate deeply or how to navigate complex emotions with skill. So even though they have all these feelings, they are kind of fumbling around not knowing how to express them or how to handle the situation. They might do things that seem confusing or contradictory because they are still learning how to deal with feelings this intense. When it comes to eye contact, the Page of Wands energy is interesting because this is someone who actually wants to connect with you, wants to explore with you. But the moment things get too real or too deep, they get nervous. Eye contact is intimate. It is real. It is grounded. And the page wants to keep things light and exciting without getting too heavy. So they avoid your eyes because holding your gaze would make everything feel too serious, too committed, too real. The fifth card is the Knight of Wands, and now we are seeing the progression from the page. The Knight of Wands is passionate, impulsive, adventurous, and always on the move. This card is showing us another layer of this person's energy and feelings toward you. There is a part of them that wants to rush toward you, that feels this incredible pull and passion and wants to just go for it without thinking about the consequences. The Knight of Wands is all about action and momentum. When this person is in their Knight of Wands energy around you, they are probably charming, exciting, spontaneous. They might send you messages out of nowhere, show up unexpectedly, or have these bursts of intense attention and affection. But then just as quickly, they disappear again. Because the Knight of Wands does not like to stay in one place for too long. This energy is about the chase, about the excitement of pursuit, about that rush of adrenaline that comes with new passion. Here is what I am picking up. This person has moments where they want to charge full speed ahead toward you. They feel this fire, this desire, this passion that is so strong they can barely contain it. But the Knight of Wands can also be reckless and afraid of being tamed or tied down. So just when they start moving toward you with all that intensity, their fear kicks in and they pull back. They are worried that if they fully commit to this, if they let themselves fall completely, they will lose their freedom or their sense of self. The Knight of Wands also tends to struggle with consistency. This person might have incredible highs where they are all in and totally focused on you, but then they retreat and you do not hear from them. This inconsistency is not because they do not care. It is because they are battling between their desire to pursue you and their fear of what happens after the chase is over. They are comfortable with passion and excitement, but uncomfortable with the deeper, steadier aspects of real intimacy. Regarding why they cannot look you in the eyes, the Knight of Wands is always moving, always looking ahead to the next thing. Eye contact requires you to stop, to be still, to be present in that moment with that person. And stillness is not comfortable for this energy. Also, when they look into your eyes, they see the depth there and it scares them because it is not just about passion and excitement anymore. It is about something real and lasting, and that is where their courage falters. Let me pull the next card here. The Magician is coming through, and this is such a powerful card. The Magician is about manifestation, about having all the tools and resources you need, about skill and intention and creating your reality. This card is showing me that this person actually has everything they need to make this work with you. They have the capability, the resources, the skills to build something real and beautiful with you. The Magician is a master communicator, someone who can bridge different worlds and make things happen through willpower and focus. So on some level, this person knows they could do this. They could step up, they could communicate clearly, they could use all their gifts and abilities to create the relationship they actually want with you. They are not lacking in capability. What they are lacking is the willingness to actually use their power in service of this connection. The Magician also represents choice and conscious creation. This person is very aware that they are at a crossroads. They know they have the power to choose you, to choose vulnerability, to choose to build something real. But the Magician can also use their skills to manipulate or to keep things at arm's length. I am getting that this person might be using their cleverness, their charm, their ability to control situations as a way to avoid true intimacy with you. They know how to say the right things, how to keep you interested without fully committing, how to manage the situation so that they can stay in control. This is not necessarily malicious. They are protecting themselves. But the Magician is reminding them and us that they have the power to make a different choice. They can use their gifts to build something real instead of using them to maintain their walls. This person cannot look you in the eyes because eye contact takes away some of that control. When you truly see someone and let them see you, you cannot manipulate or manage the situation as easily. The magician likes to be in control of the narrative, and direct, honest, vulnerable eye contact strips away that control and makes everything more raw and real. They are afraid that if they look into your eyes and let you really see them, they will lose the upper hand and become just as vulnerable as you are. Card number 7 is the Seven of Swords, and this is where we need to talk about some difficult truths. The Seven of Swords is about deception, sneaking around, hidden motives, and avoiding direct confrontation. Now, before you panic, let me explain what I am seeing here. This person is not necessarily deceiving you in the way you might think. They are deceiving themselves. The Seven of Swords is showing me that this person has been trying to sneak away from their own feelings. They have been telling themselves stories that are not quite true. Maybe they are convincing themselves that they do not really care that much, or that this is just casual, or that they could walk away anytime they want. But those are lies they are telling themselves to avoid facing the truth of how deeply they feel. There might also be an element of them not being completely honest with you about what is going on. They are not giving you the full picture of their feelings or their situation. This could be because they have other complications in their life, or because they are not ready to admit the truth, or because they think it is easier to keep you at a distance with half-truths than to be fully vulnerable and honest. The Seven of Swords suggests they are taking the path that seems easier in the moment, even though it is not the right path. I am also picking up that this person might be trying to have it both ways. They want to keep you in their life and keep the connection alive, but they also want to maintain their freedom and their protection. So they are sneaking around their own commitments, not fully in but not fully out, trying to avoid making a real decision. This is the energy of someone who is trying to cheat the system, to find a way to get what they want without having to risk anything. The reason they cannot look you in the eyes connects deeply to this card. You cannot lie to someone while looking them directly in the eyes, at least not easily. When they avoid your gaze, it is easier for them to maintain these stories they are telling themselves and you. If they looked at you directly, really faced you, they would have to confront their own dishonesty, their own avoidance, their own fear. Your eyes would reflect back the truth, and they are not ready for that yet. Let me see what else is coming through. The Three of Cups appeared, and this is interesting because it shifts the energy a bit. The Three of Cups is about celebration, friendship, community, and joyful connections. This card is telling me that this person genuinely enjoys your company and your energy. There is a part of them that celebrates you, that feels uplifted and happy when they are around you. The Three of Cups can sometimes indicate that this person sees you in a social context or values the friendship aspect of your connection. They might be comfortable with you in group settings or when things are light and fun, but struggle when things become more intimate or one-on-one. There is celebration and joy in their feelings for you, but it might be easier for them to experience that in a less intense context. I am also getting that this person might be talking about you to others. The Three of Cups is about sharing and community, so they could be discussing their feelings with friends or seeking advice about the situation. They might be celebrating you to others, talking about how great you are, but still not able to express that directly to you. There is admiration and appreciation there, but it is being expressed in roundabout ways, rather than directly to your face. Another layer of the Three of Cups is about emotional fulfillment and happiness. When this person thinks about you or imagines a future with you, there is real happiness there. They can envision the joy and celebration and beautiful moments you could share together. But again, imagination feels safer than reality. They can celebrate the idea of you without having to risk anything real. The eye contact issue with the Three of Cups energy is that this card is about group dynamics and shared joy, not necessarily intimate one-on-one connection. They can be around you and enjoy you in certain contexts, but the direct intensity of eye contact in an intimate moment is too personal, too revealing. They are more comfortable with the social, surface-level interaction than with the deep soul-to-soul connection that eye contact can create. The 9th card coming through is the Two of Pentacles, and this is giving us practical insight into what is happening in their external life. The Two of Pentacles is about juggling multiple responsibilities, trying to maintain balance, dealing with practical matters and decisions. This person has a lot going on in their life right now, and they are trying to balance everything. This could mean they have work stress, financial concerns, family obligations, or other practical matters that are taking up their mental and emotional energy. The Two of Pentacles shows someone who is stretched thin, trying to keep all the balls in the air, managing and adapting, but also feeling overwhelmed by everything they have to handle. This is adding to why they cannot fully show up for you right now. But here's the thing. The Two of Pentacles is also about choice and priority. This person is choosing where to put their energy and their focus. Yes, they have legitimate responsibilities and concerns, but they are also using those things as an excuse to avoid dealing with their feelings for you. It is easier to say they are too busy or too stressed than to admit they are scared. The Two of Pentacles also indicates that they are weighing their options. They are trying to figure out how you fit into their life, whether they can balance a relationship with everything else they have going on, whether the risk is worth the potential disruption to their carefully managed existence. They are in decision mode, but they are taking a very practical, calculated approach rather than leading with their heart. I am sensing that this person might also be dealing with some instability in their life. The Two of Pentacles is about constant movement and adjustment, trying to stay upright while everything shifts around you. They might not feel like they are in a stable enough place to offer you what you deserve. They might feel like they need to get their life together first before they can really commit to someone else. When it comes to eye contact, the Two of Pentacles shows someone who is distracted and mentally elsewhere. They are juggling so much that they cannot be fully present with you. Looking into your eyes would require them to stop juggling, to set everything else down and just be with you in that moment. And right now, they do not feel like they can afford to do that because they are afraid everything else will come crashing down if they stop managing it all. The final card I am pulling for you is the Devil, and I have to say, this card is extremely revealing about what is really holding this person back. The Devil represents bondage, addiction, unhealthy patterns, fear, and being trapped by your own limiting beliefs. This person is in chains, Libra, but the chains are of their own making. The Devil shows me that this person is trapped in fear-based thinking. They are enslaved to their wounds, to their past hurts, to their belief that vulnerability equals pain. Even though they have deep feelings for you, even though a part of them desperately wants to be with you, they are bound by their own fear and their own toxic patterns. They might have patterns of self-sabotage where they destroy good things before they can be destroyed by them. They might be addicted to emotional unavailability because it feels safer than real intimacy. This card also indicates that there might be some unhealthy attachments or obsessions at play. They could be obsessed with you, but in a way that feels scary to them because it means they are not in control. Or they might be attached to their pain, their story of being hurt, their identity as someone who does not need anyone. The Devil shows us that sometimes we become comfortable in our chains because at least they are familiar. I am getting very strongly that this person wants to break free, but does not know how. They can see the chains, they can feel how these patterns are limiting them, but actually breaking free requires a level of courage and self-awareness that they have not quite developed yet. They know their fear is holding them back, but the fear of change is even greater than the fear of staying stuck. The Devil also speaks to temptation and inner conflict. This person is tempted by you, by the connection you offer, by the possibility of real love. But they are equally tempted to stay safe, to stay protected, to keep their walls up. They are being torn between these two temptations, and right now the temptation to stay safe is winning out. The reason they cannot look you in the eyes is perhaps most clear with this card. The Devil represents shame and hiding. They are ashamed of their own fear, ashamed that they cannot be braver, ashamed of how their own patterns are hurting you and themselves. When they look into your eyes, they see not just your love, but their own failure to meet it. They see their own chains, and it is too painful. It is easier to look away than to face the truth of what they are doing to themselves and to this connection. So Libra, after going through all these cards, I want to give you the full picture. This person absolutely loves you. Their feelings are real, they are deep, and they are overwhelming to them. You represent something pure and beautiful to them, something that takes them back to a better version of themselves. But you also represent their greatest fear, because loving you means being vulnerable, and they have built their entire life around avoiding that vulnerability. They are going through a massive internal upheaval because of you. Everything they thought they knew about themselves and about staying safe is being challenged. They need time and space to process this, but that does not mean they do not care. In fact, they care so much that it terrifies them. They have the capability and the resources to make this work, but they are choosing to stay in patterns of avoidance and self-protection instead of using their power to build something real. There is joy and celebration in how they feel about you, but they are more comfortable expressing that in indirect ways than being vulnerable and direct. They are juggling a lot in their life and using that as both a real reason and an excuse for not fully showing up. And ultimately, they are trapped by their own fear and their own limiting beliefs about what love means and what they deserve. They cannot look you in the eyes because your eyes show them the truth. They show them their own feelings that they are trying to deny, their own fear that they are trying to hide, their own potential that they are too scared to reach for. Eye contact would strip away all the defenses and leave them completely exposed, and right now they simply are not brave enough for that. The question for you, Libra, is what do you want to do with this information? This person loves you, but they are not ready or willing to show up for that love in the way you deserve. You cannot force someone to be brave. You cannot force someone to choose vulnerability. All you can do is decide what you are willing to accept and what you need for yourself. I hope this reading has given you clarity and insight into what is happening beneath the surface. Remember that you deserve someone who can look you in the eyes, who can face their feelings, who can choose you fully and openly. Whether this person gets there or not is their journey to make. Your journey is about honoring yourself and your needs. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this resonated with you, I would love to hear about it. Take care of yourself, Libra. You are so deeply loved, even if someone is too afraid to show you that right now. Until next time.